Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Breaking Bitcoin Market Update. Of course, I am your host, Justin Wise, lead analyst and senior mentor here at Cracking Cryptocurrency. I want to give a shout out to you guys. Hope you're doing fantastic wherever you do happen to be tuning in from. And I do want to apologize. It seems like the Restream chat is having some issues, but hopefully it's back up online and hopefully it does seem to be working well. Anyways, so if you guys have any questions, comments, anything you want me to look at, make sure to drop them in the chat. Let's scroll through here. Let's scroll through here and say what's going on. Brandon, thank you so much for the $5 donation, my good friend. Highly appreciated. How are you doing this fine morning? Jasper, Wally, good to see. Looks around holding some red candles. Did someone order a case of the Mondays? Molia76, can you take a look at EOS when you have time? Sure, we can look at EOS. When Moon, Sunday. Blockchain Gains, good to see you. Crypto Caveman, thank you so much for joining us. Andrew Adams, Texas Blues, Chair, Charmaine 684, Freeman's Cryptoverse, Cheap Vlog. And Jeremy By. All right, cool. If I missed anybody, I apologize. All right, let's get into this. Anything that I want to go over before this begins? I guess one interesting thing, I guess, do you even lift up? There we go. Okay, cool. Look, there, it works. It works. It works. I guess one thing is I read... It's not the most interesting thing that I read, but I do think it's kind of funny. Coinbase is launching their own debit card. They've been using the Shift card previously, so kind of when I heard about this, so I read the article and it was like, hey, Coinbase launching its own debit credit card. This is going to be fantastic and change the world. I'm like, wait, how is this different from the Shift card? So apparently this is just from Coinbase. They're not having to go through Shift, which was an intermediary. So anyways, potentially cool, potentially awesome. You guys know how I feel about news and fundamentals and things of that nature. Obviously the main source here is that for long-term adoption, for long-term positive news for Bitcoin, all the news that we've gotten over the last 4 months has been incredibly positive, incredibly amazing. And this is why, if you guys recall, and even now, if you are looking, again, what we focus in this channel, we focus on trading. We focus on positions. We focus on entries and exits. We focus on strategies. We focus on disciplines, psychology, and money management. All the tools that you need to be a profitable trader and to earn a living off of this space in a more active way. However, it would be remiss of me, and this is something that I commonly talk about all the time. And I was even talking about this back in 3 to 4,000. I said, if you're looking to accumulate a spot position in BTC anywhere between 3 and 4,000, I think that you're going to look back and say this was a good average entry price. I've said that for a long time. Still sitting in spot BTC. I have not gone to Tether. I don't feel the need to at this point in time. Again, there are different timeframes and different mentalities that we have to talk about when we look at where we think Bitcoin's going to go. So I even think, even at these price levels, I think that you'll look back in 5 years and be very pleased with an average entry anywhere below 6,000. But however, that is, at the end of the day, that is your own opinion. That is your own risk management strategy that you have to develop. You have to make your own investment decisions. It's not my job here to tell you how to invest your money. My job is to tell you what works and what doesn't as far as trading strategy goes. So, all right, getting the coffee going. Sorry for the late start. Was trying to get that restream issue fixed, but let's get to the charts, guys. Let's get right into this. All right, and here we are at the live scene. That is the one I want. That works, but that's not the one. This is the one. This one. Why? What are you doing to me? What are you doing to me? Interesting. Okay. We seem to be in a bit of a revolt. Let's see if I do this. There we go. Okay, that was weird and interesting and somewhat funny. But anyways, here we are. We're in the live scene, guys. Let me realize that you guys might have trouble seeing prices. So, okay, looks good enough. All right, guys. Of course, if you have anything you want me to look at, feel free to drop it in there. All right, Link making that nice little break to the upside here. This was something that I just posted in. The members lounge, Link USDT, looking good for a day trade setup. But let's focus on the man of the evening, XBT. And before we do that, let's just go over here to Coin 360 and just give it a little bit of a refresh. So there we go. That's what we're looking at. Massive pullback in the cryptocurrency markets. We're going to go through the total market cap. We're going to talk where we're sitting at as far as terms of support and resistance. We're going to look at sentiment, and we're going to try to devise what's the best strategy for this. Should you be buying pullbacks? Is this the beginning of or are we going to see continuation to the downside? Or does this still represent opportunities for pullbacks? I'm going to leave that decision up to you guys, but I'll be honest and as upfront as possible as I can with how I'm playing this and the positions that I've assumed and taken on. Okay. Let's get over here. First, before we begin, let's actually go and break down those longer term fundamentals. So to do that, we are going to have to open up the long-term watch list of mine, and we'll look at the total market cap. So this is basically what happened over the course of the last night. We'll pull open the daily. We have a pretty significant pullback. This is the total market cap. I think it's interesting, but what's more interesting is going to be the altcoin market cap when we do actually get to look at that. So this is the total market cap. And as you can see, we did reach that nice peak when obviously Bitcoin had that nice pump. We see that the market cap did pump up to about 180 billion, was swiftly rejected. This was actually our 1, 2, 3, our third test of that area. If we go look at the 3-day, you could call it the fourth test. You could call it the fourth test of that significant zone of resistance that I had pointed out. You can see that we do wick in there 3 times, almost for the third time, but you do see that lower level of resistance that I had drawn. Also congruent with the 3-day cloud. You guys know I've been putting a lot of emphasis on that 3-day cloud. And kind of similarly as well, when we go back into when we go back and look at Bitcoin, we're going to talk about that as well. Kind of the question that I had got asked a lot. I believe it was Zuhair had asked that question quite a lot. He said, "What are the odds of us breaking into the 3-day Kumo cloud?" Because you guys know, if you've been watching the show for a while, that I was putting a lot of weight on that. But again, you guys also should know the weight that I put on BPC. So whenever we're looking for a breakout type of trade, I am always looking for a break, pullback, continuation setup, right? The reason why is because fading breakouts is one of the most popular strategies in cryptocurrency, in all kinds of trading, for your higher tier of reversal trader. Retail traders are often going to get swept up in that exuberance upon an initial break. And it's not often the initial break of a level of resistance that gets significantly bought into. It often gets faded. So I'm always looking for, whenever we're looking to break out of a resistance level or break down from a support level, I'm always looking to wait for price to pull back, whether that's immediately or shortly afterwards, and test that area as confirmed resistance or new support before entering into a positional trade in that direction. 25% of the time, I'd say 15 to 25% of the time, you might miss a movement. Okay, you might miss that genuine price is breaking and running, and okay, geez, I missed a trade. But the other 75 to 85% of the time, you're going to save yourself a lot of headache, because breakout trades generally get faded. There's just a poor breakout traders do not have a good statistical likelihood of beating the market over time. Now they can, but you have to, if you're going to be a breakout trader or a breakdown trader, you have to adopt that strategy. The better strategy is identifying what, in my opinion, is identifying what the critical levels of support and resistance are on higher time frames and setting limit orders there. All right, because I am a reversal trader. So when we have a significant level of resistance, I like to have limit sell orders placed at that level. I like to log in and then manage my risk based on what price does when it interacts with that level. But they're almost always good for short-term plays, right? You never know in advance whether a trade is going to be a swing trade or whether a trade is going to be a day trade. That's why So it makes sense. It does make sense for people to identify themselves. You know, you'll hear people say, I'm a day trader, I'm a swing trader, I'm a positional trader. Most generally, and no offense, people don't really understand what those terms really mean, but that's okay. I mean, I'm not trying to be pedantic here. I'm trying to be, I understand that it's helpful for classification, right? Which is pretty much the main, what humans like to do. We like to classify things. We like to put things in boxes. So that's okay. I understand it. But the point is that in reality, as a seasoned trader, what you will learn in advance is you don't know whether a trade's going to be positional or directional or a swing trade or a day trade. You can set those limits upon yourself, but I think that you're limiting yourself, right? That's like saying, you know, like Anton Creel has a really good comment where, you know, he's talking about how a question that he gets a lot is, I am a Forex day trader. Can you help me? And, you know, and he's talking about the stupidity of that by saying, oh, so what you're saying, if you're saying I'm a Forex day trader, is that you're only limiting yourself to trading one asset class on one time frame. That doesn't make any sense because as a trader, you need to go where the volatility is. And if you guys have been watching my content for a while, you'll know that that was the original reason that I did move from Forex into cryptocurrency, was because I saw where the volatility was going. And I haven't regretted that decision since. Now I've gotten a lot of renewed interest in me doing Forex charting, doing Forex trading. I do have an Owanda demo account that I'm playing around with. My original idea with it was to put on a lot more positions that I had. I've actually only put on one position, was a pound euro, it was a 120 pip trade that I took profit on. Haven't done anything besides that. I just haven't had the time to do it. That's more personal, but I have sorted out some things that should hopefully allow me to maybe spend more time, you know, potentially a half hour to an hour a day doing that, which is the only way that I like to trade Forex anyways. I only trade Forex on one time frame, and I only trade Forex a certain way. I don't reversal trade Forex, I trend trade Forex, and I use indicators. So I don't think that there's, anyways, I digress. So let's get in here to the 3-day total market cap. We are pulling back. We are finding support on the Tenkin. Now, one thing that I will point out is that when the Tenkin on the higher time frames, the way that I use my time frames for the Tenkin and the Kijun, when because they're set to longer settings, right? There are more conservative settings, as I've gone over in the stream. Because if you look at the Kijun here really closely, you'll see that it's pointed down pretty significantly, right? So even though you can see that we bounced off of it quite nicely, I typically like to wait until it goes flat and represents a better area of support and resistance. However, obviously you can note that where did we bounce off of? We bounced beautifully off the boundary of the 3-day Kijun. And again, I think the more significant thing to point out here is this 3-day cloud. Similarly, if we go look at BTC USD on Bitstamp and we do some long-term analysis, which we were doing the other day, let's go look at the 3-day and pull this up. And we will also, let's get the Ichimoku cloud on there. All right, so I believe, yes, so this is where we were. If you guys go back in time, on the stream, as you can see, we have this long wick up here. At one point in time, it was not yesterday, I believe it was the day prior to that. This was not a wick, that was a full-bodied candle. And a lot of people were excited. They said, Justin, we broke into the 3-day cloud. We're going to the moon. And I said, listen, guys, that sounds good. It's all well and good, but we need to close up here. We need to close up here. And even as I said on the stream 2 days ago, I was talking about where I had set my limit sell orders at 53.75 and 53.25 for an average entry of 53.50. I'm very pleased with that entry right now for my short position. So we were unable to close in the 3-day cloud. That was a breakout trade. We're breaking above a level of resistance, which is the 3-day Ichimoku Kumo cloud. That's very significant in my opinion. It's something that I do trade off of. As you can see, it was suppressing price for 9 days here. We wicked off of that resistance. We also talked about the 3-day EMAs. We talked about the 3-day EMAs. We talked about the 3-day 200 exponential. We talked about the 3-day 100 exponential. I believe it was the more critical levels that I was talking about was the weekly, right? Because in this week, we can see that the 100 weekly exponential moving average was acting as closing resistance, and the 55 was acting as true high resistance, right? Congruent with the 3-day Kumo cloud, the 55 exponential moving average on the weekly there. So we do see that was tested, rated above. We rated the liquidity above that level. We were unable to close, and we rejected fairly significantly. Now, It's a nice bearish reaction, however you want to count it, and there is a good argument to be made for continuation to the downside, which I'm going to show you. But of course, the most prevalent narrative right now is buy the dip. So we're gonna look at where are we at in relation to those higher time frame levels of support and resistance, and ask ourselves, okay, does this make more sense to buy as a dip, or does this make more sense? Because let's be clear here, you can take long scalps on the way down. You can take short scalps on the way up, right? It just depends on what time frame you want to trade on and what conditions and what opportunities the market presents itself to you with, based on what strategy that you're using. So obviously we can see here that price, let's go down to the daily to identify this. So we can see here, and let's take the EMAs off of there. So we had, remember I talked about this previously, we had this horizontal level of support and resistance, and to identify where that level is coming from, you can see we bounced off of it. And I talked about the fact that I was not deleting this line from my chart because I got like comments about it, right? Because if you recall, the levels, let's actually see if I pull it up. If I pull it up here, maybe it'll be a cleaner chart and it will just have the weekly levels on it. So BTC USD, Bitstamp on the, no, they're not there. Shoot. Okay. Okay, so I would have to go back to the old version of my chart, but however, I digress. The point is that originally I only had certain levels on my chart. I did not have our Tenkens and our EMAs and everything else that I am keeping my eye on. I just had these horizontal levels of support and resistance because they were congruent with liquidity zones and true closes of the previous areas of consolidation, right? So areas in the market that I felt were significant, right? So as you can see here, let's zoom in here a little bit. Back in 2017 on the way up, you can see that this level of consolidation right here, we had price had a nice run up. We reached a level of resistance, excuse me, at 5110. Sorry, that's not correct. That's where's this line actually at? Sorry, 49.79, right? 49.79. It's 49.64 on BitMEX. And we rejected from that level, pulled back, broke that resistance, and then back tested it. Keep in mind, this is on the weekly chart. So that was a critical level. That was actually a level that we could have been identifying as either a take profit or a long scalp on the way back down. Price did not respect it on the way down. Price did not respect it on the way back up. So at this point in time, you're asking yourself, okay, well, really, should I have this line on my chart or not? No, because when you have an area of the market that has acted as significant horizontal support or resistance, an area of demand that is disrespected, it often acts as strong supply. Conversely, if it's an area of strong supply and it gets disrespected, it often acts as a strong area of demand, right? Support and resistance. And we can see, where did price bounce off of? It bounced off of that level beautifully. So again, no reason to be deleting these lines from your chart. And again, I want to forestall the argument because this is something that I argue against, right? There's a difference, right? You're going to see people with lots of lines on their chart. Okay, and as you can see, I have lots of lines on my chart. But here's the thing. Most people are going to have a lot of lines on their chart and have no idea what to do with those lines. They're not going to tell you what those lines mean. They're going to ignore those lines when they get blown through, and they're only going to point out those lines when they get when finally that one time when you have 50,000 lines on your chart, that one time it actually gets bounced off of. The lines on my chart are there for a very important reason, right? They're good for analysis. They're good to see, okay, well, broadly, price is above this level. It's below this level. That means it's bearish. That means it's bullish. That's analysis. That's all trying to fortune tell, predict the market, blah, 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 blah. Those levels are on my chart for the purposes of trading. They're where I will have and do have limit orders set, right? Now, whether a trade turns into a long-term trade or a swing trade because it continues to go in my favor and I'm like, hey, amazing, let's scale in. Let's continue moving this baby down, or let's continue moving this baby up. Or whether it turns into a swing trade, I go down, as you guys know, I monitor the lower time frames. I see that, oh man, we just had a, so say price reverses on my limit order, or I get a good entry, obviously like I did with 53.50, price did go up and everybody thought we were going to the moon, but all I had to do was wait and be patient. Good thing my internet was out, and price continued to the downside. And I can look back and say that, hey man, I got a great entry on my short position. So anyways, what I would like to point out is that we have, it's Thursday, so we have 3 days until the weekly candle closes, okay? I would say that if and this, I know this is a ways out, but I just want to say this. If the weekly candle closes significantly bearish like it is right now, I would expect more downside. The reason why is because this is really, looking at the current weekly candle, this is the most significant bearish reaction we've had during this run up. And you just have to expect, after a big run like that, you do need the market to take a breather, right? People are going to want to take profit. People are unsure if price is going to continue to go up. People are starting to like kind of get itchy for a short, right? People are eager to jump on the trigger. And prior to this, most shorts have been punished, right? Everybody that was trying to short on the way up, you just got to be patient. You got to wait for the right time. And the right time came yesterday. So anyways, so yes, that's what the purpose, I think, of identifying what these critical levels of support and resistance are on higher time frames so that you can set limit orders there, right? That's the point, is you want to know where a wick will likely go, and then you want to have good money management skills so that you're not, if price disrespects that level, that you're not blowing out your account, for example, right? Okay. So let's pull open my show notes, and we'll get into what I talked about in the members lounge this morning. Okay, so obviously we had a nice big drop last night, a continuation from the downside as I expected after yesterday's stream. As you guys know, I was short yesterday's stream. I did not talk in whatsoever fashion about closing my short. I've taken profit on my short on the way down at 2 levels. I took profit on if we go to the lower time frames, we can see. So let's go to the 15-minute chart here on XBT, and you guys can see where I've taken profit. Basically at consolidation levels. So, okay, so average entry at 53.50. As you guys can see, my average entry in my short price dropped down to this level, and this was about midnight. Where were we during the stream? During last night's stream, we were about right here. I took about 15% of profit here, and then price dropped down to here. I took a little bit more, and then price dropped down to here just right before the stream. I took a little bit more profit, so I'm about 40% out of my short position. And looking at this is kind of what I'm looking at today. If we go over to Tensor charts, and let's actually go to the charts so we can look at the order book. And again, you do have to be tentative about trading the order book, but let's check in with hold on, this is going to take a second to load. All right, so let's check in there with Mr. 4900. Okay, Mr. 4900, there is about, and it's ranged from 9 to 11 million. There's a 9 to 11 million buy order resting on the order books at 4900. Okay, based on that, I would say that order's been there for quite a while. I haven't seen it pulled yet. We do have an order coming in at 5070. That's another 10 to 15 million dollar order that I've seen flash on and off. So it's spoofing the market. We do see price moving sideways and consolidation after a large move down. I would actually expect to see a bit of a bounce here in BTC. No way to tell. Again, I know the optimum answer would be, oh, does this mean we should like buy the dip for a long-term trade? It doesn't. You don't know, right? What I will say is that should that order remain at 4,900 and it is not pulled, I would, and again, this is what I said in the members lounge this morning, anywhere between 49.50 and 49.30 in that region, I would say that would be a good place to set a limit order with a fairly tight stop around 48.80. Because again, if that order gets pulled, you don't want to be playing around, because then that would be a significant buy wall that was propping the market up so that resting bids could get filled, and then the market will continue moving down, which I think is a more logical answer if we go look at open interest, for example. And I'll show you the open interest cheat sheet that there's been an open interest cheat sheet like floating around, for example. And again, I don't want to point any fingers. And I understand the logic behind it, but that open interest cheat sheet is not traditionally the way to interpret open interest anyways. So I did some digging, and I actually found open interest from that was referencing futures on traditional exchanges, right? So this is older information, more sustainable information. Open interest, as refers to cryptocurrency, is kind of a newer thing. And again, I'm not aware of any other, except for Skew and Tensor charts, I'm not aware of any websites that actually track that data. And I'm not really aware of many people that talk about open interest. It's become more popular now, I would say. But anyways, I digress. So the 5070 order on the order book, I've seen flash on and off. I think it's spoofing. So right now, the idea on the daily, for the intraday trade would be a trade to the upside, right? I'd be looking to have some bids down around 49.30, 49.50. Looking to front run that large order at 4,900. Again, with that tight stop loss around 48.80, because if that order gets pulled, you don't want to be in the market, and we're going to have continuation to the downside. So you don't have to risk a whole lot to determine if your thesis is right or wrong. Then again, you don't see, with the exception of that 5070 order, you don't see another hot spot on the market till about 5150. So I would say that a trade from the mid 4900s, 4930, 4950 to 5100, 5150, around that range, maybe front run that 5150 a little bit. I think that would be a good intraday trade if you get the right setup and opportunity. If you're looking to take a breakout trade, what do you need to see? Okay, I've talked about this a million times. You need to see a BPC, you need to see a break, pullback, continuation. Because if we're looking at the lower time time frames here on XBT, this is the 5-minute chart on Tensor charts. We haven't had a break in market structure, right? We're just forming a descending triangle in the 15-minute chart or a bearish pennant. Generally, those do have continuation to the downside. However, looking at the order books, you could make the long trade argument. Not something that I'm going to be taking myself. What would I need to see? I know a lot of people are eager to take the long. I'm not going to be, again, even if should price return and close convincingly above that 5150 region, then I will most likely be looking for dips to exit my short and then potentially go long at that point in time. But until I see a shift in market structure, because right now we've just seen downside. So I need to see a convincing shift in market structure to the upside. What does that look like? That looks like so to see a shift in market structure that would conform to confirmation standards, you want to see a high get taken out, all right? You want to see a high get taken out and then a pullback and then bullish continuation, right? So for example, let's look at this consolidation pattern right here on the 15-minute chart. And as we can see, the daily Heikin-Ashi trend did just shift bearish on this candle right here. This is, if you've been, let's just look at the 15-minute chart. The Heikin-Ashi trend has been bullish, and this is one of the powerful features of time transformation. So if you're trading Heikin-Ashi, if you're trading the time transformation as a trending indicator, you can see right here it has you in a long trade from 39.56, right? That's when the bullish that's when the daily Heikin-Ashi shifts bullish, right? Because the way that I rewrote this feature for time transformation, it actually calculates based off opening price. So you actually get that early indication, right? It's good. It's quite good. As you can see here, the trend shifts bearish right here, moves to the downside. And what's nice about this is that it doesn't repaint, right? So there are going to be opportunity. There's going to be times when it doesn't give you the best entry and exit. That's why, as I talked about, there are going to be better entry indicators and better exit indicators, but I wouldn't use them generally simultaneously, right? Because the grand majority of the time, price does not do what we did here. So if you just look here, you can see that using time transformation reversal signals, so buys and sells, get you into the market at a good point in time. And then using Heikin-Ashi trend flips typically are a great exit indicator. They're not the best. Right? There's better ones out there, but they're damn good. Okay. And damn good is most likely a lot better than what the majority of you probably have now if you have not spent the time and energy developing your own if this then that strategy, right? This all falls into the realm of if this then that, because it's objective, it's verifiable, you can set rules, and then you don't diverge from the rules. But anyways, we can see here that the Heikin-Ashi trend turns bullish on the 26th of March at 2015 my time. So about 8:15 my time, and we have not had a bearish daily Heikin-Ashi until just now. So by any metrics, by any standards, that's a damn good trade. Okay, that's a damn good trade. I would say, and classically speaking, if the daily closes with another if the daily closes bearish Heikin-Ashi, then you want to be out of your long position. So ideally, we're only looking for longs at this point in time. We're only looking for shorts. We're not looking for longs, and that's my overall analysis of the market. I'm not going to personally be looking for longs. But again, as I do mentor a large amount of traders now, over 100 traders now, I need to be trying to provide the best setups and opportunities that I can and pointing out what potentially might be attractive trades in the market. So as we can see, price did pull back down to my initiation. I mean, wicked beautiful. This level was on the chart yesterday. We talked about it. 49.69. I talked about it at length yesterday. 49.69. Price wicked down, wicked off of it beautifully. You also had an opportunity. It didn't come all the way down. It did come down here actually. So on the dip, came down to 51.45. Nice. And if again setting limit orders there, you would have profited quite well. On the second pass through got disrespected. So 51.45 would be, again, that same congruent with that same area that I'm looking at, 51.30 to 51.50. I would be looking for that retracement to a previous level of support. You can see that it was bought up, so you had a lot of interested buyers in this area. You can see that this is where they sold. Price continued to move to the downside as the majority of them ended up taking profit here and pushing the market down with aggressive selling. And then retail continues to push the market down because there wasn't really a significant area of buying. I would say that this right here, this movement right here was mostly this buying right here. And so I would be looking for that pullback to retest that area 51.45 as resistance, and then most likely more continuation to the downside. Okay, and then again, where do I think we're headed in the long scale? I think that we are headed again back to the Scion blue box territory, about 7 to 8% more to the downside. We're going to be testing that 46.69, which are those higher time frame levels of the exponential moving averages and the Ichimoku levels. So, yes, okay, pretty simple. I think price is going to continue to move down, and I think that this is going to be the next area where I'm going to be interested in buying. And then we'll see if price is going to move all the way back down to 4,200. 4,200 isn't the first important level that I have on the chart. It would be 43.39. That would be where I'd be doing. So I'd be doing buying at 46.69, and then waiting for an opportunity to short potentially. Buying at 43.39. Those are all ways that if you're trying to scalp up on the way down, maybe not the best thing. Again, another way to do this is have 2 accounts. So you can have an account for positional trades. You can have an account for trading, right? So positional trading would be short right now. I would be long-term short. I have the majority of my stack short. And then if you want to do intraday trading or scalping in the opposite direction, you're going to have 2 BitMEX accounts, or you need to be trading on a different exchange. Deribit, for example, or you can hedge with options. The other thing that you can do, and I do go over this in the members group a little bit, I need to make a more fleshed out video on it, I do know, but I've talked about it at length, is utilizing the multiple contracts on BitMEX, for example. So you have XBT M19, you have XBT U19, right? So you can use the futures contracts to do your positional trades, and then the perpetual swap to do your day trading and try to take advantage of funding and liquidations and things of that nature, right? There is a little bit of a more risk because that's not the best way to, that's better than hedging, for example, right? That's better than using the futures contracts to hedge, although that's not bad either. But keep in mind, there's different volatility on the market. So it's not a complete hedge. It's not gambling, even though trading, you can make the argument that trading is gambling. But it's less true hedging because you're taking a correlated asset and you're trying to trade it in the opposite direction. But the point of the matter is that correlated asset is a different market in and of itself with a different liquidity pool and a different range of buyers and sellers. So, and it's played differently. So just understand that it's better than a lot of the alternatives, but it does have its risks. And as with everything, especially in cryptocurrency, there's nuances to everything, man. You have to spend some time and effort and energy and become a little bit seasoned and experienced to understand the nuances of the platform. That's why I think a community of traders is really going to be able to help you out, because you might be fantastic at technical analysis, but you might know nothing about the nuances of BitMEX, or you might be really, really good at the nuances of BitMEX, but be a bad trader. Either way, you're going to find somebody out there in a community to help you out and guide you in the right direction. So, okay, let's get back into some of those fundamental data metrics. I want to look at the total crypto market cap. So let's go to the daily. This is the others. Okay, so this is the crypto market cap excluding Bitcoin, right? Where do we see it? We see that we see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days of rejection. Finally, on the 5th test of the resistance zone, we did get pushed back down. No significant breaks up into the zone. Again, you guys know I was hesitant about the entire market, or about Bitcoin in particularly. We get that nice bounce off the 24-hour Tenkin. So I think this actually does look good. We are seeing a little bit of a short-term bounce in altcoins. I would expect us to do that. There are a few altcoin positions I'm in that are underwater, so I'm going to be utilizing this bounce to attempt to get out of those positions at break even. But it's okay. This might be the first week where my altcoin positions are red. But last week was really the last few months have been so fantastic, giving a small portion of it back to the market just on altcoins. But overall in USD value in my portfolio, I'm up because we shorted Bcash, pretty much caught the top of Bcash, and XBT as well. So doing well with that. Not concerned in the slightest. But yeah, there are a few, just full disclosure, there are a few altcoins that I bought. Again, didn't buy them at the tops, but I bought pullbacks and they've dropped down a little bit. So a few of them are like 5% down. Nothing that I'm freaked out about because they're altcoins. And there are altcoins, I think, that are going to perform better on the way down as everything. But I do think that the market takes a little bit more of a leg down. But as I said last night, this was my update to the members last night because we saw a massive drop, right? And I got lots of DMs like, oh my God, dude, should I sell? Okay, here's the thing. No, never panic sell a massive death candle, right? The reason why is because I had an altcoin position that was down 13%, right? P&L from, where I entered, price was down 13%. Okay, now it's down 7%. You see the difference. Don't sell the bottom, okay? Never sell the bottom. After a volatile movement, you're always going to get at least a reactionary in the opposite direction, right? So utilize that opportunity to reduce your losses and take that opportunity to look for opportunities to maximize your gains in other asset classes. So we had about a 6.5% gouge taken out of the total crypto market cap. We dropped from about 174 billion to 162 billion from the close of yesterday's daily candle. So overnight, we had about a 6.5% drop, just gouged profit taken out of the crypto market cap. Market cap is currently sitting at our previous 2-day level of consolidation. So actually, let's go back to that total crypto market cap right here. Here's the daily, and we'll also throw on CCEMA. So as we can see here, although we see the altcoin market cap, so the market cap excluding Bitcoin, although we do see that resting on support, if we look at the total market cap, we actually don't see a significant level of support until about another 7% to the downside in the form of our daily 200 exponential moving average and our daily Kijun. Daily Tenkan. We have our daily Kijun and our Kumo cloud a little bit below us. The future cloud is bullish as well, but we are well above all supports, and just simple reversion of the mean strategy. I would expect to have another leg to the downside, at least down to about 154 billion. We'll see how that plays out. Excuse me. What's the next level I expect us to reject from? Where do I expect us to float up to? I expect us to float up about another 2% on the total market cap to about 166 billion. So as you can see here, just same logic, guys. Here's that level of horizontal support and resistance. It acted as resistance. It was broken through. It was back tested, acted as support. Price consolidated above, broke through, disrespected that level. What should it act as now? It should act as resistance. It should act as a level of supply. Coming back to the altcoin market cap. Kind of the same thing. I don't have that horizontal level of support or resistance here. We'll see how it corresponds. I think the altcoins are going to have more of a bounce back because I think people are more bullish on the altcoins than on Bitcoin right now. I know that might sound contradictory, but it's just what I've actually noticed in the space. And maybe that's just my Bitcoin maximalist type. What's the word I'm looking for? Bias. But anyways, I digress. I would expect to have altcoins are having a nice little. I mean, they're not going to have a bounce. They're having a bounce right now. So take advantage of that opportunity right now, right? Because the most likely scenario is that alts do take another leg down with the rest of the total market cap. Okay. So take advantage of that bounce. Look at this opportunity to exit some of your positions that are underwater. Let price come back up to you. Let the market come back to you, and use that opportunity to exit some of your underwater positions if you have underwater positions. Because here's the thing. This is a shift in market structure, right? Regardless of how you want to look at it, I know a lot of people are screaming to buy the dip. I don't agree with that. I'm not saying that the market is entering into, I'm not saying that we're going to just give it all back, right? I'm not saying that. I don't think that's going to happen. But what I am saying is that you would be, how do I put this? Okay. There's a difference between a pullback, right? There's a difference between a healthy pullback and the beginning of longer term consolidation and a breather, okay? There's a difference, right? So when you are in an uptrend, right? Let me give you an example, right? So here's an uptrend, right? Price is moving up. You have a pullback. Price continues 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 moving up. Okay. Look at all those examples that I just showed you. Okay. And then look at this. It's different. That is a different candle, right? That is a significant shift in market structure to the downside, right? Price is not going to just bounce right back to test resistance. It's not going to happen, right? There is a less than 5% chance of that happening in my estimation. And if it does happen, okay, great. It was one of those rare Hail Mary events where buying, I don't think this is a dip to buy. I think this is an opportunity for you to be in short positions and to let the market take a breather, let it come back down to a more significant level of support and resistance and consolidate, right? And then we'll be able to see if we are going to push higher. I don't think that we do. I think that we do end up moving lower, at least to 4,400, if not, at least to the $4,600 level, if not 4,400. And I would expect us to consolidate in that zone between 4,000 and 5,000. I do expect us to trade back down, at least on a wicking basis, to the $3,000 to $4,000 range. As I've said multiple times, I think that will most likely represent the lowest that price is likely to go. I'm still holding out the potential that price does end up going lower than our previous yearly lows. It could happen. Nobody knows. But I'm prepared for whichever way the market decides to go, right? Whether that's in a short position, and right now the trades are to the downside. That is a significant shift in market structure after a classic distribution pattern, right? Price consolidated at the top of a market cycle for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days, almost a week, right? It moved sideways and then down, right? That's different than a healthy pullback, all right? This is it. It could be generating or building up to a healthy pullback, right? But this candle, this daily candle, is not the healthy pullback. The only reason to have bought at the lows, right, and not sell at the lows, is to wait for that natural retracement after a volatile movement so that you can get out, not at the bottom, but at less of a loss or around break even, okay, if you are holding on to losing positions, okay? That's broadly what that is what this current intraday session or daily session represents, okay, in my opinion. What else did I want to talk about? Yeah, looking at let's go look at longs. Longs having a pretty significant pullback, obviously. Okay. So here's Bitcoin longs on Finex. Bitcoin longs having a nice. The longs are having a nice healthy pullback, and this is what I want to point out. Now, this does look like a pullback during an uptrend on the longs. If we look at the shorts, we can see that the shorts really haven't made a move to capitalize on this, right? So telling us that there's not really an interest to the downside yet, and that's why I think that we're going to see that movement back up. I think that we're going to back test and retest that 5150 level, 5145, and then continuation to the downside. People are still a little bit too bullish. I think people are a little bit too irrational to try and buy what I think is a significant shift in market structure candle. And if we look at the longs to shorts ratios, we can see that even though we see the longs exiting, we don't see shorts entering. Even though longs are or longs are taking profit, we still see that the overall longs to shorts ratio is 1.32, so still moderately bullish, right? Again, there is a case to be made against what I'm saying, right? And it's not about being right, okay? Because we're talking about analysis, so all I can do is give you my best opinion of the market, right? There's frequent times when I'm wrong. That's just the humility that I accept as a trader. So I have to understand going in that there's my analysis, what I think is likely to happen, and then my technical analysis, which is what I will do at certain price levels, no questions asked, because that's my strategy. All right, there's a big difference. People get really caught up in the drama of trading. People get really culty. People get really tribey. People get really, well, hey man, I think price is going to do this, and if it doesn't do this, they don't know what to do. They get caught like a deer in headlights. Well, you just move. Like you do something different. You have a plan. If, I think price is going to do this, okay, that's great. Let's throw that out. Here's my analysis. Here's the critical levels that I've identified. Here's what my indicators are telling me. So I'm going to be looking to do this at this level. And if it goes down here, I'm going to take a loss. And if it goes up here, I'm going to take, it's simple. You need to have a battle plan in place, stop loss for every trade, take profit for every trade, and validation zones for every trade, right? Initiation levels, which is where you're going to be entering into a position, at what level or what does price have to do very specifically to invalidate your trade and invalidate your trading thesis. And if you're not doing that, you're gambling. You need to have an if this then that strategy. Let's go look at Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin dominance trying to make a run for it. Bitcoin dominance trying to make a run for it. And that's why another reason that I did talk about, I think that we are going to see a little bit of a healthy retracement on the altcoins here because Bitcoin dominance is taking a little bit of a hit. But yes, we did close above that resistance trend line here on this day. And now we are looking to open and close above the Bitcoin dominance here. So a lot of people moving out of altcoins over the last 24 hours, putting their profits back in Bitcoin, which I think is interesting. Obviously, USDT dominance making a nice run as well over the last 72 hours. Honestly, so we did reach a bottom here, and USDT dominance is going up. We are coming up to our first level of resistance right here and rejecting a little bit. I'm going to see where this consolidates at, but I would take advantage while USDT dominance is dropping. I would take advantage of that to be again looking at long-term scalps or lower time frame trading opportunities for Binance today, and similarly, looking to get out of any of your underwater positions at less of a loss or closer to break even. All right, 1253. I think we've gone over Bitcoin quite a bit. We've identified the levels where I think we're likely to reject from. I've identified where I think we're going to go. We've talked about. I'll leave open the long-term Bitstamp chart so that we can look at this quite closely. So here's the critical levels that I do have on the chart, and really the next one to the downside is 4606, guys. That is a horizontal level of support and resistance. Below that, we have 4442. That's the weekly 21 exponential moving average. 4279, which is our weekly Tenkan, and then 4102, which is our horizontal and our weekly 200 exponential moving average. So all areas where you can take long scalps from, or areas to be looking to take profit on a directional short trade, or both if you have two accounts or you're trading on an exchange that allows you to be short and long simultaneously. And that's about it for Bitcoin. Let's get back open to here. And a lot going on. Let's see if I missed anything. Guabble, thanks so much for the follow on Twitch, my good man. Highly appreciated. Welcome to the family. I want to thank Nick Ramcharan, Jerry Pack, Tom Fogels, Foxlight, and Neo. Neo, I'm KTG. Thanks so much for the subs on YouTube, guys. Welcome to the community. Eager to meet you. And a lot of chat to go through. So I'll tell you what we're going to do, man. You know what? Yeah, broadly, drink. We're going to need some more coffee. We're going to need some more water, guys. It's 5 minutes early for me to take a break, but I'm going to go grab some water and coffee. When I get back, I'm going to go through the chat and engage with your comments, and then we'll take some requests, guys, and we'll focus on, what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong, and we'll work on that strategy that we're building together, guys. Don't go anywhere. While you're waiting, if you do want to support the stream, you guys can go over to topg.crackingcryptocurrency.com. Give us an upvote. It's a Discord server ranking list. Pushes us up in the Discord search results, and we appreciate that. If you guys would like to help our community grow like that, again, that's topg.crackingcryptocurrency.com. We went from rank 300 to rank 7. Thank you guys so much for that support. We highly appreciate it. You just click right here, vote for us. Yeah, that's all I got. Don't go anywhere, guys. I'll be right back. All right, hey guys, sorry about the longer than normal break. Apologize for that. Thank you so much for sticking in there. All right, let's engage with the chat, man. A lot of comments in the chat today, man. Get to them. I wonder if I do. Nah, maybe not. Valentine, good to see you. Tom Crypto Newbie, hello to you too, man. Good vibes, brother. Saqib, it's going well, man. Farid Mahdi asks if we could take a look at Nano. Put Nano on the schedule. Hey, Nitin, good to see you, man. Ron Legato. Blockchain Gain says the Cash App Black Card, my go-to. Hell yeah, man. Ginseng Rathor says Zcash, big movement, buy now, big up, boom, Zek. Sounds like an infomercial. Nicholas Gray Van Pitius says, hi, can we look at Zilliqa, Tezos, and Maker? We'll look at Zill. Eddie S. Should I trade my Bitcoin into Stellar so I won't lose on this dip? Please help me, Oprah. Should I trade my Bitcoin into Stellar? So what do you think is fundamentally more valuable, Stellar or Bitcoin? Again, you have to kind of look at the market as a whole and then each individual chart as a whole. So I'd have to look at these. I'd have to look at the lumens chart. But again, it would be my idea that things do take a second leg down. Great day to explain the power of Bitcoin when moving from alt drops to Bitcoin, less pullback, or Tether or USDC on Coinbase. Thanks, man. CBN5 asks Justin, maybe you can have a look at tensor charts, their heat map chart, and talk a little about what you think of this representation indicator. Yeah, we can take a look. Again, you're entering. I've been very honest about this. I like tensor charts for the way that they visualize the order book, and I like to see the heat maps. Oh, okay. So you are talking that I am familiar with. So the heat maps of the historical order book. Hopefully that's what you're talking about. Yeah, of course. Ginseng Rathor says, Zek, big up, buy now, Zek. See, CBN5 says, do you think Wyckoff theory can be applied to cryptos, accumulation, distribution? Yes, I think Wyckoff can be applied to any asset that is tradable in the marketplace. Third Eye Trader, are you aware of Anton Kreil's view on Bitcoin and cryptocurrency? I'm not. Bad Andy says, I can never see his clouds. Can anyone else? So I have my, this is personal preference, but the way that I have my, you can't see a cloud here on the weekly because there's not one, and you can just see the cloud on the 3-day. I don't use hard lines because they're distracting for me. So I do like to see a more vague, translucent, somewhat cloud. It's visible there, especially if we look at something like the daily. I think it's pretty easy to see there. That's just my personal preference, how I've created it. Let's keep our eye on the action here. Let's see here. CBN5 says Anton Kreil, don't like that guy. He's definitely not somebody that I'd want. Actually, you know what? I really like Anton Kreil. He seems like somebody you wouldn't like, but he's smart. He's very, very smart, very talented. He was a fantastic trader when he was active in the market. Now he's just kind of an advisor, laid back guy. Some of his like statements, like, he has that really, really, really famous video about like crushing like, brokers and stuff like that. That stuff's common knowledge, in my opinion, from trading for so long. But yeah, I mean, it obviously is an eye opener to people who didn't know anything about the retail exchange markets. But what's really interesting is that most people only know of Anton Kreil from his videos that he's published, like I want to say within the last 5 years. If you search on YouTube for let's see if we can't find it together. I watched this. I watched this the other day. Let's search for millionaire traders documentary. Yeah, here it is. Search for millionaire traders documentary. And it's going to be this video right here with this dude who looks like he just came out of the joint. And this chick right here looks like she just read a bad pregnancy test. Million Dollar Traders is what it's called. Part 1, British reality TV series created by Lex Van Dam. So Lex Van Dam, or you can just go to Lex Van Dam Trading Academy videos. Lex is actually a really smart guy. I've watched, I've read, watched all his courses. They're not back in the day. They're not. I don't think they're like life changing or anything like that. I think they would give you like somewhat of a good fundamental basis. I mean, it's all, in my opinion, like just common knowledge stuff that we start with day one at, in the premium trading group. But I digress. Lex Van Dam was, again, another very, very, very talented trader back in his day. Now kind of works just as a mentor. But what's interesting about that $1 Million Traders documentary is that you see Anton Creel as a young man. So he was, I want to say, 27 or 29, somewhere around there, and he had just retired from trading full time from the American markets, and he's acting as the floor manager for this this prop desk of this hedge fund of traders that weren't trading like 3 weeks ago. So it's an interesting series. It's not going to teach you a whole lot about trading, but it is interesting to see his mentality, and you can just see that he's definitely one of those uncomfortable with touching facts kind of guys, which is kind of how I am too. But I don't know. I mean, being a father really smooths me out. So getting back into the live scene over here. Math Tutor says, "Hey man, I know I'm always nagging you about this, but tax date is coming up." Yeah, it is. So listen, we had an accountant lined up to come on the stream. And when we were originally talking to him, he was all fired up to come on the stream and everything looked good because one of our team members knows him personally. And then, we kind of dropped the ball on that. We were working on some software on the back end. We were working on updating our systems and we just kind of forgot about it, and then when we really got time to try and reschedule it, he's just too busy because it's like the busiest time of the year for him. So I don't think that that's going to happen. And I apologize. I dropped the ball on that. So, but I'll make it up to you. I'll do my best to make it up to you. Vivian Bonza, thanks so much for the subscription. And back again, the subscription box is like massively big again. AJ says, "Hey, can we do the TD count? And what do I think?" Yeah, we can look at the TD count. I don't think I'm going to be able to look at a lot more. Mustafa Frywan says, "Could I make a video about sensor charts? I want to learn it." Yeah, I can definitely try and talk about it more on the stream. And it's one of those tools that I'm working on getting better at myself because it's newer to me. I'll be honest with you. Jeremy Bai asks, "Can we take a look at LTC targets?" What's that black and white indicator with Heiken Ashi? Where to get and how much? That's the trending function of time transformation. All subscribers to the premium trading group get it. He says, I am a mentor to those you, or I don't know if that's a question or statement, but you are a mentor to those you don't even know, bro. Well, I mean, this is the digital age, man. So, I mean, I've met, one of my closest friends, Scott. I met him over the internet. And that has developed into a business friendship. That's developed into a friendship that's been one of the best people that I've ever met in my entire life. So, I mean, I talk a lot with all our members. We have Discord, we have DM, we do voice chats. So, yeah, do they live down the block? Do I know them? No, but we live in a different age, man. Tony Regalato says, "What indicator changes the candles like that?" That's time transformation, as I just explained. What do I think about the NVT indicator? I don't put a lot of weight on the NVT indicator. Willy Woo has come out and said that the NVT indicator has been being manipulated because so many people have been talking about it. And again, it's just one of those things that whenever you get whenever there's like it's become a totem, right? It's become a totem. Like people are looking at the NVT indicator and they're like, this is the indicator, this is the one. Look at how it's called every bottom and top, right? But nobody was talking about it back then when it was calling the bottoms and tops. And now that they're looking for it to call the bottoms and tops, again, whenever there's data out there, there's going to be interested parties that attempt to manipulate that data for their own self-interest. Yeah, hopefully I get that right. DIY guy says, I set my charts to line chart and make it transparent so it doesn't give me bias, meaning I don't look at price. I don't know if that was funny, if that was my interpretation of it, man. ZERP is the standard. Thank you, Stephen Hyatt, man. I really like that tune myself. Okay. Brandon, about strat. I'll post an updated chart in the chat in the members lounge. Okay, a lot more questions. I want to get to them all, but I also want to take a look at all that stuff, guys. So, okay. I met our lead developer online playing a game. Yeah, that's how I met. I didn't meet Ben playing a game, but I did meet him online too. So, and now he's welcome at my house. So, just one of those things. Okay, let's close this down. Let's go over here and let's get into Nano. Yeah, Nano got bought up very significantly from the demand zone right here. Nano got bought up very significantly from the demand zone. My opinion hasn't changed. I think that we will see more downside in the long term, but definitely a good opportunity to not have exited any position in a panic. But yeah, you can just see how we came right, beautifully down. I charted this demand zone out here. Let's actually get to daily here so we can get a little bit of. Okay. Let's see here. We pointed out the demand zone, and we talked about a 3-day TK bull cross by pullbacks if confirmed. Get out of here. Like boxing with my computer. Do we have a confirmed Tenkan Kijun bull cross? This candle needs to close tomorrow evening. If this candle closes bullish, it will be a confirmed TK cross, telling you to buy pullbacks. Interesting. So if I look at the chart in Nano, I want to say this is good. And it is good because, any limit bids in this demand zone, you would be up about 7% right now. Good trade, great trade for anybody who targeted that demand zone. And that's the point. That's the point of having lines on your chart. So areas where you do want to react to when price goes there, right? It's not that it's not like that price is going to make an incredible move, or let's be realistic. Again, what do you think is the trade? Do you think the trade is from here to here, or do you think the trade is from here to here, right? It just depends. So we're coming up at the 15-minute cloud, looking to close the 15-minute candle inside the cloud. Actually, no, sorry, we're not inside the cloud at all. We're actually getting rejected from the 15-minute cloud, or coming up to resistance, excuse me. Did we have a shift in market structure here? Yes, so here's that exact, no, we didn't break that high, we didn't close above that high. Typically, you're looking for price to close above a high, and then you buy pullback. So, would this have qualified? Maybe you do close above the, okay, you do close above the 15-minute key June. That represents a shift in market structure, and then you get a nice healthy pullback. You get a buy signal in your demand zone, so you have multiple levels of confluence right there. What was time transformation? Obviously, yeah, you get the buy signal. And Wadatar was still trading above the explosion level, but had gone orange from red to orange, meaning a shift in momentum. And then you get the confirmation with Wadatar on 2 candles later. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, you get the signal that you can enter that trade 2 candles later from Wadatar right here. So at the 7:15 candle, yeah, this candle right here. So if you had taken the speculative entry right here, because you have multiple levels of confluence that you don't have over here with these buy signals. The reason why is because you're in the demand zone. You're in the demand zone. Wadatar is shifting from very bearish to waning bearish, but you can wait for confirmation here if you want, or here. Or even in the vicinity of here, okay? Because you have, again, here's that shift in market structure that I'm talking about. You have consolidation. You've gotten a buy signal back here. You are now closing above your key June and staying above your key June. Even if you had bought here, not a bad idea. And you're looking to get, the most significant thing, though, is you're about to get your 15-minute TK cross here on Nano. So for the intraday session, you would now look for about a 1.5–2% pullback to roughly 29.45 to look for a TK pullback before taking the trade to the upside. We do have that 15-minute Kumo cloud. So that's why I would be looking for a pullback. And if you missed the move, hey, you missed the move, man. Because I'm talking about the entry signal for a TK crossover. That's a little bit different again. You could have taken the buy signal, but you don't have those levels of confluence back here that I think, in my opinion, would have confirmed the trade for you. Trending wise, time transformation is above the 0 line, and you are trading nicely above the explosion level of Wadatar. You are resting right into resistance here on the 15-minute chart. Let's go to the hourly and see where we're sitting as well. Hourly looks pretty good. We're looking to close the hourly here in about 37 minutes above the Tenkan. So looking, if we get that nice 15-minute pullback from the cloud back here and then continue another leg up, this could potentially go up to test the cloud, maybe even the key June. So maybe another 7 to 6% on Nano right here. Yeah, I do think we see a bounce from the alts today. We're already seeing it. But I don't think it, I think it's more likely, again, as I said earlier and talked about with the total crypto market cap, I think it's more likely to look at this as an opportunity to take scalp trades to the upside, position yourself for longer term trades, and or get out of underwater positions at less of a loss or more of a break even. So for example, if you were unlucky enough to buy the top of the market cycle and you're now down 20%, you could potentially be out at negative 10%. Higher time frames on Nano. You get that cross, and you did have that pullback not only to the TK cross level, right? Not only to the TK cross level, not only to the previous level of resistance, but also into the supply zone, or excuse me, demand zone. So you can make a convincing argument as well that this is good to hold for a positional trade. Not something that I would want to do, but we did talk about higher take profit targets if that is the case. Let's do a refresh. Sometimes my lines get... and that's 3,800 or 38,000 sats, sorry. That's where our 3-day 100 exponential moving average is coming in at. We're not going to have to deal with the cloud if we can get up there in the next week and a half. Otherwise, we're going to have to deal with the cloud, about trading sideways into the cloud. And however, 3-day sell signal, didn't get the daily sell signal. And weekly's getting a little bit overstressed. We've only had 3 weekly buys on Nano. 1 was bad, 2 were great. And how many? We've only had, this would be our first ever 3-day sell signal on Nano BTC. Yeah, I think it floats up, but I think it continues to the downside. But if you want to look at those higher time frames, because I think there is a convincing argument to be made to the upside, I'd be interested in this for LTF trades today. Again, especially if we can break that 15-minute cloud. If we can get above the 15-minute cloud, I think this thing does have the potential to run up here to test the hourly cloud. But the best trade, in my opinion, is looking for that pullback now to, what is this level? 294. Yeah, 294, in the vicinity of 294. Look for a pullback to that level, and I would have your stop loss on an hourly close below this level, or a 15-minute close below this level, 290. Because there's no reason, if this represents the low, there's no reason for buyers to let price go back down there. You've already had your stop hunt into your supply zone, or into your demand zone, excuse me. ZEC. All right, let's look at the heralded ZEC. See if it's continuing to make lows, or is it doing something? ZEC doing something. Breaking above the 15-minute cloud, you immediately have a pullback and a retest. Great trade. Let's see, you get the confirmed TK crossover on this candle. So if you were trading the TK cross, you're waiting for a pullback still. And where are you coming up to? So you are coming back up into your order block. You got resistance overhead right here. Let's look at the higher time frames. Okay, so we had Zcash give us a weekly buy right here. We had 2 nice weeks of expansion, rejection from resistance, okay, because we do have resistance at 100, or here, 0.015, make it easier rather than saying, 1 million. Consolidated, price didn't really do much on the weekly time frame. I mean, the closing price did not move, tried to move down, put in a Darth Maul candle right here. And then a candle like this, man, where, yeah, you definitely get bought up down here at supply, or demand, excuse me, right at the bottom of the market. So we had talked about the stop loss level at 0.01358. Go look at the 3-day. Yeah, the first, still, this is the target zone that I have for this, is the weekly Tenkan and our previous breakdown zone of this part of the market cycle. So 0.017 to 0.177. About a 25% trade. Yeah, price moving sideways, consolidation, broke out of a falling wedge. You guys know I like chart patterns, but it is on there. I don't like it. I don't like it right now. I mean, I want to say that it looks good because, yeah, it got bought up a whole lot. Sure. But, I don't know, man. I need to see it get above some level of resistance. We got the 3-day Tenkan right overhead. Let's see if we can close above it. If we can get back into equilibrium after breaking down from equilibrium. So since I didn't have any limit orders filled down here, since I didn't buy cheap, right? Because obviously, one second, guys. All right, back to the action, guys. Okay. So since I wasn't able to buy Zcash short, or excuse me, cheap, I didn't have any Zcash limit orders in, there's no reason for me to buy now. So now I need to see it break a level of resistance. So the first thing I'd be watching for is looking for that 3-day close above the 3-day Tenkan right here, and a reclamation of our equilibrium zone. If we see that, that would be pretty good for Zcash. Yeah, looking at the daily as well. Daily's coming. The daily has broken down below our key June right here, and we're about to get a bearish TK cross, and price is retracing to retest our breakdown zone because we were in equilibrium right here. We had our range high and our range low. We had equilibrium right here. We broke down from equilibrium, and now we're trying to reclaim it. So it looks good. Also trading in kind of in and out of the daily range of the daily cloud as well. So trying to get back up there. But again, you've got that level of resistance now. Previous equilibrium zone, breakdown, retesting it for resistance. Price gets back up above it and reclaims the zone. Looks pretty good. Again, there I'm front running that edge-to-edge trade with this zone right here on the daily time frame. And the 3-day key June as well. Nice confluence there with both the Senkou Span A and B and the 3-day key June. So that's a long-term position, but we need to reclaim this for at least some kind of profitable trade or good entry. Andrew asks, how to set a stop loss congruent with your overall account and at the same time avoid stop loss hunting or giant wicks down. So there's two ways. There's two ways to do that. So the first is the method that I utilize is I don't use hard stops. The reason why is because I position size correctly, assuming that area as my stop loss. So when I use my position size calculator, that's the level that I put in. Sometimes the actual execution price will be slightly above or slightly below. The reason why is because I look for conditions that would soft stop loss a trade. So I want to see an hourly close below a level, or I want to see a daily close below a level. And it's very rare that I have a movement that just tears right through my stop and continues going. Again, just like as I'm talking about today with altcoins, I do have a few positions in the red with altcoins, and I'm going to utilize this opportunity for them to come back up and for me to sell at less of a loss or break even, or maybe even a slight profit if I get lucky. And the reason why is because a range only breaks down one time. The majority of the time, you go between support and resistance. And generally, when you do break a range, you almost always come back to back test it as resistance. Now, there are always areas on the chart where I have a hard stop loss. If price goes here, I take a loss no matter what. So not having a hard stop loss in general, especially on BitMEX, is going to be able to protect you from that. There are going to be situations where you incur a little bit more of a loss than you had originally anticipated. But if you're patient and you just know what you're doing and you're position sizing correctly and you're not putting everything into one trade, then you'll be fine. Then you'll be fine. There's going to be situations where, yeah, you take more of a loss than you had intended. But using a strategy like that, there's going to be a lot of times where you take less of a loss than you had intended, right? And you're going to be able to not get pushed out of a position before it ends up making its run, or if you're short, making its downfall, because you're not letting yourself get punked out of the market by market makers. The other method is to use something like the 3 stop loss timeout feature, which is pretty neat. Sempars asks, what does TK mean? Tenkan Kijun. I appreciate that, Sajin. It takes a lot of shaving, man. Actually, I didn't even shave today. So I appreciate the shine. I appreciate the shine comments, man. Let's see here. Back to Zilliqa. Okay, the best I can say about this is maybe a weekly double bottom. So we'll just start with the weekly and work our way down. We have kind of our reversion to the mean right here. Obviously, we have our weekly Tenkan right here. And obviously, this is a fairly fresh chart on the weekly basis, but just looking at the information and data that we have here, let's see here. We struggle to get above the Tenkan right here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 good weeks of expansion. Price breaks down to the mean, and then we just trade below it. We come back up, retest it as resistance, and reject. On the weekly, it's not confirmed yet, but we're looking for a weekly cross under 0. It's a pretty bearish sign, especially that's a continuation cross to the downside. Your original entry, for a short position was right here, but time transformation, but Wadatar does not confirm it. So the fish are crossing below 0, and Wadatar being bearish would be a weekly sell signal. But we're about to get a weekly continuation cross right here. The weekly is less tradable than the 3-day on crypto, but just something to keep your eyes on. Just because it's cheap doesn't mean it's a good buy. Let's go to the 3-day, see what's going on. The 3-day did pretty good. 3-day give you a buy signal right here. Set you up for almost a 17% trade, depending on how you played it. Obviously, you had the Kijun over here acting as resistance, so you're just setting a limit order. Good 12%. Right there. Bearish 3-day TK cross confirmed on this candle right here. And what happens? Would have been a good, if you could short Zilliqa, you would be pretty good right now. Getting bought up on the LTFs. Again, I think that alts are going to bounce on the LTFs today for sure. But we have to look at those higher time frame levels of support and resistance. So right now, Zilliqa is underneath all resistance. Go look at the daily. You're going to get that. Okay, so we've got our Tenkan and our Kijun conjoining. Not a good sign. So we have resistance overhead, about 6% overhead. Let's go look at the LTFs and see what we got. Obviously, we did have a nice 8% trade on the table today. All right. Yeah, this doesn't look really amazing to me, man. go look at the hourly and see what we got, if there's opportunities left for the day. 30% down. Put in a nice volume spike down here at the bottom right there. Yep, that's significant volume spike. Look at that. Big volume spike. And you got rising volume right here. This is pretty good. Pretty good for a reversal trade. Let's see here. You got your first potential take profit about 2% away. And really you're looking for, hopefully you're looking for a retest of that cloud. Maybe 8% up. I don't know though. I mean, you want to see like a TK cross, man, and you're below the cloud. Things don't look good, man. I mean, the cloud does really, really well on the LTFs, man. You know, here you go, price break in the cloud, pull back, you even get the TK cross that foreshadows it a little bit here, but you're confirmed right here, and you're set up for a great trade right there. Similarly, it tells you a great time to be out of the trade. Now, I don't use, like, I would not recommend using, if you, same for moving average crossovers, they're terrible if you just trade that strategy. Either of those things can actually be a decent entry or a decent, they're good entry indicators, right? They're not good exit indicators or take profit indicators. You need something else. You need something that's more sensitive, like time transformation. Doesn't look too bad on the hourly for a bounce. I really would like to see a TK cross to the upside if I'm gonna, because I don't think we're gonna see sustained movement to the upside. I think you're gonna get a bounce. I think you are gonna get a bounce. Like, I think just about all altcoins are gonna get a bounce. Zilliqa's been on the downside since the 5th of April, so maybe this one will get a little bit better bounce. 30% down. Let's see if we can get a retracement to the cloud. So maybe 10% more to the upside. Pretty neutral about it. Let's go down to the 15-minute. Okay, nice 15-minute TK cross and testing the cloud for the first time. So yeah, just look for, I'd be looking for a pullback to like 400 sats. See how far this thing runs, man. Like up to that hourly. Got your first profit target about 416 sats. And if you can get above that, try and hit the cloud, man. They're 5 to 8% above you. Look too bad. Again, daily. Get up here, we get up to these levels, it doesn't look good. So be aware of your time frames, man. Doesn't look too bad for, I mean, you got to take a good trade. You got a TK cross in the 15-minute, try and buy a pullback. On the hourly, you're trying to close above the Tenkan, so seeing that in confluence with the fact that you've already crossed above level of resistance on your LTFs, you got a 15-minute buy signal down here. Got a couple hourly buys that pretty much had you averaging down. Didn't give you the best entries though. You'd be right about break even if you had taken these buy signals. You'd be able to get out at break even with the Kijun. I'm going to set an alert for 400 sats. I like it. I like it for the day. Good daily opportunity. Michael Banks, do I use harmonic patterns when I'm charting? No, because I like to make money. AJ says, when you are doing a risk to reward, if the stop loss is too high, it quickly becomes not a good trade. I want to make sure I understand exactly what you're saying. When a stop loss is too high, I don't do risk to reward ratios. I use average true range. There's either a good trade on the table or there's not a good trade on the table. And if your stop loss is farther away, you just have to take a smaller position size. The farther your stop loss is, smaller money, the less amount of money that you can put into the trade if you want to be responsible. Chris Mason, do I expect a bounce for Ethereum here? $165 area? Michael and Andrew. Let's see here. Yeah, we didn't really look at Ethereum, did we? Yeah, I mean, I do. Just like I said, I think that Bitcoin's likely to see a bounce as well. I want to see us back test 5145, 5150. Let's go over to Tensor charts and see what happened. Did the order get pulled? Nope. $4,900 area is still strong. 5150 order still strong. The other thing that I did want to point out. So let's go look at BitMEX stats. Check this out. And we will look at Ethereum. So let's look at Ethereum and let's look at hourly open interest. Okay. Where do we see open interest start to rise? In the movement down here, right? We see massive open interest. We see a lot of people put on positions right here as price is moving down. So price moving down and open interest rising means price is more likely to continue to the downside. What's happening now? Price is rising and open interest is falling. Meaning that the uptrend is not strong, typically. That's the proper way to interpret open interest, in my opinion. So I think that you had a lot of shorts. This is indicating that right around here, you had a lot of people enter into shorts, in my opinion. You had a lot of people put on short positions right here. And I think that these bottom shorters are going to get punished by a retracement pullback. We'll go look at those levels on the chart, by a retracement pullback and then more continuation to the downside. Because again, you're seeing open interest not rising as price is moving up, which means that it's not a strong uptrend. And you saw a lot of open interest open up down here, which means that yes, a lot of bottom shorters are going to get punished, but it still represents that the sentiment is to the downside. But bottom shorters do get punished, so. So let's look at ETH. Look at Ethereum. Okay, so we're back at 166.15, roughly 165.66 is actually what we're trading at. Or no, sorry. 166.20, 166.15 is where we're trading at. 165.66 was a previous take profit on the way up. All right, so what do we got going on, man? Let's see here. Didn't even have an SFP, but just, and cleared out all the shorts and significant move to the downside. All right. Hourly buy signal, hourly buy signal. Do we have anything below us? We got the daily Tenkan coming in below us at 155.43. We've got our demand zone right here that is congruent with our daily Kijun coming in at 139.48. 3-day. Yeah, so right there where our daily Tenkan's coming in at, so about 155.43, is also where you're trying to get a 3-day TK cross. You're trying to get a 3-day TK cross. So yeah, I would like to see price come back down to 153 at least. 153 in that 153 to 155 region, and we'll reevaluate. We still have this ascending trend line that we're respecting right now. And let's see, drawing trend lines is subjective, so. And I like how that intersects with our, sorry, let me spend some time. There we go. And that intersects really nicely with where our daily Tenkan's coming in at and where our 3-daily Kijun's coming in at. So another maybe 6 days, maybe a week to get back down to this level. Most likely wicks down to 139.98. I would have limit orders set at both areas if you're trying to catch a dip for movements to the upside, or alternatively targeting those areas for take profits to the downside. Let's look what our daily's doing. We are coming down to test the, ooh, we got to move this up. Sorry. Damn. I think I looked at the charts. I moved down. Our Kijun in here. Dang. Sally. Good thing I looked at the charts. Okay, so came down to the daily Kijun. Now we're talking about 160.08 and 152.52. Interesting. The plot thickens. Dun 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 dun. Okay, we have confluence with our daily Tenkan and our 21 exponential moving average. We have confluence with our daily Kijun and our 55 exponential moving average. And we have confluence with our 100 exponential moving average as well, with our ascending trend line. So now, do this. Do this now. Cool, now I have to reevaluate my ETH position. Okay. Daily sell signal right here on time transformation. Did have some nice follow through. Yeah, TT's done pretty good on Ethereum, except for this realm right here. Did really good here, did really good here, did good here. So gave the last buy signal on the 29th of January. And given its first sell signal now. So about a 70% trade. Had you just done what the indicator told you to do? Yeah, I mean, we see more downside, man. We see more downside. We're going to see a brief pullback. Let's see what we got going on the 15-minute chart. $15-minute buy signal right here. Not bad for a scalp or an intraday trade. Made it above the Tenkan. Coming up to test the Kijun. You got the cloud above you as well. So you're up about 2% from that buy. Cool. Here. And here. $169 to $174. Both make sense because you have consolidation here. You have a little bit of brief lower time frame consolidation. You haven't backtracked to any of these areas to confirm resistance. Not even down here. So it's just pretty volatile all the way down. So yeah, 169.70, 174.25. Let's go take a look at the order books and see if that's congruent as well. All right. So 169.70, so let's say 170 and let's say 174. $173.3 million to the sell. 174, about 2 million. So not massively stacked. 170 is a pretty hot spot. The next hot spot's 180. And the order book's pretty equal. Yeah, 170, 174 is where I'd like to see us test. So I think you can make the intraday long. I think you can make the intraday long. It makes sense. But in the midterm, I'd be looking for short entries. Justin, do I think it's useless to trade with a small amount of money, like less than $1,000? No, I started off trading with a small amount of money. I started off trading with a small amount of money, and I learned to manage it like it was a large amount of money, and then I got opportunities to manage money. Because if you can show that you can take small amounts of money and handle it like an adult, like a mature, rational trader, and actually have more money at the end of the year, and you can do that for a couple of years, then you can shop your talents around. People are going to tell you you're crazy. People have told me I'm crazy, but I know it. I know it to be a fact. I've done it. I know friends that have done it. You need an account statement that shows I had this much money at the beginning of the year, and at the end of the year I had this much money. Learning to trade, if you don't have a whole lot of money, you're not going to be able to live off your returns as a trader. Okay, so what? That doesn't mean that this is not a skill and a career that you can't become good at, right? Trading with a small amount of capital is actually good practice for trading a large amount of capital, especially if you're actively doing trades, because you're still emotionally involved in the trade, right? It's different than paper trading. Paper trading's good. Small capital trades is better. In fact, I recommend that if you don't know how to trade, I recommend that you start off with something around $1,000, something that you can lose, and something that you can learn from, right? If $1,000 is a large amount of money, so you start with 100, right? This is a skill. This is a career that you can learn and be good at, even if you don't have a lot of money, right? The reason why is because you're going to take these skills. Let's say you don't want to be a full-time trader, right? Although you could go shop your skills around to prop desks or hedge funds, especially in cryptocurrency, man. There's lots of crypto hedge funds out there, right? And these are not Goldman Sachs institutions. You can, if you have if you network and get the right contacts, and you are a profitable trader, and you can show it on paper. Hey, man, here's my account statement. Check it out. You can get a job if you're good at selling yourself, especially in the realm of crypto, man. It's still the Wild West. There's still a lot that can be done. There's still a lot of opportunities out there. You don't need a gosh darn MBA. You don't need some degree from a college. The best traders, most of the best traders that I know are not college educated. Most of the traders that I know that are college educated get wrecked. Now, that's not to say I don't know some highly intelligent college educated traders. There are some great guys that go down that blue chip route and are good traders. But that's just a different route than I've taken, man. I didn't take the blue chip, white collar route. I've always wanted to work for myself. I've always wanted to provide for my own family's financial freedom. I've always wanted to work, and be my own man. And trading is one of the few things that offers you that opportunity. Because if you get good enough at trading with small capital, that you can become responsible for managing others' assets, whether it's a family and friends fund, whether it's a small portion of a hedge fund, whether you can get a job independently at a prop desk as an agent, as an individual contractor, which you can do. It's real. Like, I know this stuff. Like, I've been in the scene for a long time. Because I get comments all the time. They're like, "You're crazy. You have to have a college degree." And okay, all right, sure, I bet. Anyways, so there's that, and then you're also going to be learning the skills. They're going to be able to allow you to make rational decisions with your investments for the rest of your life. Right? So you don't need to trust a pension plan. You don't need to trust a 401k. You can make your own decisions about what to put your money into, and you can passively manage your retirement fund yourself. Because I don't trust the government. I don't trust any third-party company. I don't trust a pension plan. I don't trust 401ks. They're not getting my money. They make bad decisions with money. Look what happened at the last financial crisis. Pension funds got gutted, absolutely gutted. And you're not doing that to my money. Nobody cares about my retirement. Nobody cares about my child's future. Nobody cares about my investments more than myself. And so I'm not going to put my money in the hands of people who don't care about me as much as me. So no, I absolutely don't think it's useless to trade with a small amount of money. Ethan Tremblay says, "Was I stupid for what was the previous?" I'm not. Hmm. Yes, Chris, that would be a good setup, in my opinion. Was I wrong for thinking it looked like what? Yeah, I'm sorry, Ethan. I don't see your previous. Not sure what chart you're referring to. We're talking about Ether. No, bull flags occur at the top of the move, and they're continuing. K7, what's going on, man? Did I create a DLive TV account? No. Now that PewDiePie migrated from YouTube to DLive for live streaming, the website is built. Yeah, I read the DLive white paper. It's we'll probably make an account over there. It seems cool. Do I think it's really gonna take off? Not really. It's cool and everything. I kind of like it. You know, I really like Steam it. And so I've messed around with the DLive platform a little bit. I think it was called, didn't it used to be called DTube, or maybe that's something different? But yeah, I read the DLive white paper a couple days ago, and yeah, the PewDiePie news is really cool, man. Like, you know, I like PewDiePie; he's pretty entertaining. I'm not a gamer or anything, but you know, I kind of got his back because everybody was like, "Oh, dude's a racist," and I'm like, "Nah, you guys just suck at life." But anyways, you know, he's getting paid a lot of money to do that. You know, I haven't heard, you know, or I am aware of, you know, him taking like a passionate stance on cryptocurrency in the first place. So again, nothing against him, but you know, he's most likely doing it for the money, which is fine. Like, you know, nothing in life is free. People got to get paid, man, and he earns his money from being a streamer. So yeah, it's pretty cool though. He is looking to take like a whole streaming day out of his YouTube schedule to stream on DLive, which is pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, maybe we'll set up an account over there. Most likely we will. I was actually thinking about it, but you know, we'll see, man. Something that I was thinking about doing, which is a little bit more back end, but you know, was building an internal server so that we can stream more platforms like YouNow or DLive and things like that. Pretty happy right now with YouTube and Twitch. I think we reach a good audience, but yeah, it would be entertaining and enjoyable to reach more of an audience. So, if anybody has any experience or skill with that, man, feel free to hit me up because you know me, I'm a Luddite, so any help I can get. Sean Vaughn, what's going on, man? He says he got to meet and film Chris Hadfield today, commander of the International Space Station. Made me think of asking, did he see Bitcoin heading to the moon last year? That's awesome, dude. Awesome, man. I would love to see that. I'll check that out, man. Is that going to be on your YouTube channel? I'll be looking to check that out, man. Well, it is 2:02, guys. Time to go, man. I'm sorry, guys. I know. It's been a good show, man. I don't want to go anywhere, but all good things must come to an end. Let's slide over here. Thank you guys so much for your support. Thank you for coming by and tuning into the stream. Hope, of course, that you are doing fantastic wherever you're tuning in from. I hope the information in today's live stream was educational. I hope that I've helped crack some cryptocurrency for you. If you have any questions, sarcastic remarks, random comments, and or death threats, please leave them in the comment section down below. And again, I know it's difficult to leave a comment, but all you got to do is wait a couple minutes until the video processes, and the world is your oyster. Whoa, hello, Mike. The comment section is your oyster. Again, if you guys do want to help support the stream, make sure to hit that like. Make sure to hit that like button, guys. The like goal for the video is 100 likes. Let's see if we can get to that 100 likes, guys. So make sure to like the smash button, guys. I highly appreciate it if you do that. If you are not subscribed to the channel, make sure you do that. Hit the notification bell because subscriptions sometimes don't work because of the nice YouTube algorithm they got going on. So if you never want to miss an episode, because we are here Monday through Friday, noon to 2 Central Daylight Time. Let's see here, 5 to 7 Central Daylight Time on the weekend. So we do the weekend shows. We are going to be trying to do a Crypto Currently this Sunday, where we bring on an interesting guest from the cryptocurrency space and talk about technology and where we think overall the space is going, and kind of cover topics that we don't generally cover during the regular live streams, which are more focused on trading and money management. If you want to visit topg.krakencryptocurrency.com, give us an upvote in the rankings. We'd appreciate that. And of course, if you would like to have more information than just the daily live streams, if you'd like to trade along with the team, if you'd like to be in the members group, If you'd like to have access to our indicators and strategies, as well as our educational content and material and private Discord, the link is, as always, at the top of the screen at premium.krakencryptocurrency.com. I'd love to get you in there, and I'd love to mentor you if you have questions about trading. Other than that, I appreciate your guys' time. Thank you so much for joining me. Of course, I've been Justin Wise, lead analyst and senior mentor here. You guys have a good day, and until tomorrow, guys, trade safely.